Hello friend, I want to tell you about the Nissan Navara car. Currently, although it is still a modern design, it has some problems that users have to deal with. However, it also has invaluable advantages. Engines. Looking at the market offers, it would seem that the Navara was powered by just one engine, the 2.5 DCI. In fact, the range also included a 3.0-liter V6 diesel engine. Theoretically, a petrol engine was also offered, but we'll ignore it because finding it on the second-hand market is next to impossible. The basis of the range was the 2.5 DCI, YD25 diesel engine with 144 horsepower, 171 to 174 horsepower or, in the later period of production, 190 horsepower. The lowest power was in the working version XE 140 King Cab or SE 140 Double Cab. This engine develops 356 Nm and provides performance appropriate for a utility vehicle. It is also slightly less troublesome, but cars with these units usually worked harder. Higher parameters were offered in more passenger Navaras with richer equipment. After the car's facelift in 2010, the intermediate version was removed from the offer. The 174 horsepower version generates 403 Nm of torque, while the 190 horsepower diesel generates as much as 450 Nm. The latter provides excellent performance for a pickup. Acceleration to 100 km per hour takes less than 11.0 seconds, regardless of the gearbox type. At the same time, average fuel consumption is within 10 L, 100 km. The 2.5 DCI engine was configured with a manual, 6-speed gearbox or a 5-speed automatic. The 7-speed was available only in the 3.0 DCI version. This less common version of the Navara is powered by a unit from a different family, with parameters of 231 horsepower and 550 Nm. 3.0 DCI better than 2.5 DCI. Although the engine found its way under the hood of many cars, including Renault Laguna and various Infiniti models, it can actually behave differently under the hood of a smaller or larger car. An example would be its predecessor, the P9X, an Isuzu design. In a pickup, the risk of overheating was small, while in Opel Vectra passenger cars it was very high. It may be similar with the unit designed by the Nissan-Renault alliance. The only difference is that the experience is not very large. There are known cases of overheating, but this also happens in the best engines, so it is not possible to judge that it is a defect of this design. Based on the few opinions, it is difficult to assess this engine unequivocally. One thing is certain: the V6 engine provides great performance and practically similar fuel consumption as the 2.5 DCI. Suffice it to say that the Navara with this unit accelerates to 100 km per hour in 9.3 s. The engine appeared after the facelift and was available only with a 7-speed automatic, and was installed in the best-equipped Navaras. There was even a separate version of the V6 equipment, richer with everything that was available for extra charge in the top-la specification. Buying a V6 is fraught with the risk of higher repair costs. While the operating fluid capacity is very similar to the 2.5 DCI, 6 cylinders should be understood as 6 injectors, 6 glow plugs and 2 heads. There is also a more complicated, chain-driven timing system, so we wouldn't be too enthusiastic about buying a V6 diesel. What's broken? Unfortunately, the opinions about the 2.5 DCI engine are not the best. Its great advantage is its popularity, but its biggest disadvantages include a high risk of overheating and even seizure. Turbochargers fail frequently, and sometimes there is play in the timing drive. The chain is responsible for this. Most problems are related to the long mileage between engine oil changes. The manufacturer recommends doing this every 30,000 kilometers. You should use 5W30 oil, but it is best to change it every 15,000 kilometers. Of course, we are not surprised that users preferred to follow the manufacturer's recommendations. Unfortunately, this resulted in negative opinions about the engine. However, There is something worth knowing. If you buy a car with a mileage of about 200,000 kilometers, everything that was going to break down usually has already broken down. Paradoxically, the more serious, documented repairs, the better. After purchase, you just have to be careful and you can live with the 2.5 DCI engine. If something serious happens, you've only got 4 cylinders, 1 head and a bunch of used parts for sale. There are different opinions about the durability of the dual-mass flywheel. Some say it wears out after 100,000 kilometers, others after 200,000 kilometers, and still others have never replaced it. The truth is that in a pickup it looks very different due to the way it is used. You can drive on asphalt, almost always empty and gently, or torture the car off-road or with a maximum load. High operating costs can be generated by the chassis. The suspension is another minor issue, although the front wishbones could be a bit more durable. In factory models, it is not possible to replace only the pins. The rear axle and its drive are a bigger problem. Nobody really does this, because for that kind of money you can buy 5 drive axles. Fortunately, the replacement market is not sleeping and both wishbones and half-shafts are already available as dismantled parts. Don't count on the legendary durability of the drivetrain known from the Nissan Patrol. The Navara is average in this respect, so we advise you to refrain from installing aggressive off-road tires. It's best to stick to the factory size and invest in a good tire. Especially since the Navara is not very good at overcoming difficult terrain. Its long wheelbase and 18-degree breakover angle are the basic limiters. The problem with the Nissan Navara is the quality of workmanship. The car was manufactured in Spain, so we are not dealing with Japanese precision. Besides, it does not matter, because rust covering the frame, and sometimes also the body, is quite a common phenomenon in cars from the land of the rising sun. Another thing is that the interior elements were assembled badly. They look good on a new vehicle, but after a few years some of the knobs can fall off. The plastics scratch very quickly and it's hard to find a model that looks like new these days. Unless it's a 2014 car that's mostly been sitting. The same applies to bodywork. Navaras are often sold with one that transforms them into a large station wagon. If they are not regularly serviced, they can leak or come loose. There are also problems with the side of the box, which can open by itself while driving. Its hinges are a bit too delicate. Is it worth buying a Nissan Navara D40? It's a tough question. If you're looking for a solid machine, it's better to choose the more expensive Toyota Helix, but it won't provide even half of what the Navara offers. It has neither performance nor comfort, and the equipment is much more modest. The Navara's competitor is certainly the Mitsubishi L200, similar prices and performance of more powerful engine versions. Unfortunately, the Mitsubishi is not known for great reliability either, and it rusts more readily than the Nissan. The Ford Ranger will be cheaper to run, but it does not compare to the Navara in terms of driving experience. So, you could say that there is no good alternative to the Navara if you are looking for a dynamic pickup. Unless you decide on an American truck. Buying this Nissan carries a high risk of high repair costs and it is potentially a crash car. You have to be careful, but you can try. If you are looking for a car for heavy work, put aside more cash and choose a Toyota or at least Isuzu. Thanks for listening to me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and rate my video. If you know of any problems with this car that I haven't mentioned, be sure to write about them in the comments.
I have good news for you. Now, if you are planning to buy a used car, or learn more about your car, you no longer need to search for the information you need on the internet. We have collected everything in one place for you, on the website carme.pro. Here you can find out everything about the car, what breaks and at what mileage, any problems with engines, chassis or gearboxes, which trim levels are better not to mess with, and how not to lose money buying a used car. You will learn all this on carme.pro.